Hey man, today is Wednesday, right?
Yes, that's what I'm being told.
Okay, well, who's telling you? I just want to make sure it's right information.
If I give you sources of my knowledge, bro, and I have to do something awful to you. So can't get that information right now.
Well, my life is kind of boring right now, so I'll take that chance.
All right, well, you got to get some cabbage to get. You got to get on the cabbage till you get there.
Hold on, y'all. We'll be right back. I can't believe this
I'm
joker's
just
trying to put a
saying. I'm
fat
just.
man on the cabbage. You know I got a big appetite. I'll mess around and have my head blow off. I'm, it can stay in the 30s. I'm good with it. 20s, 30s. I'm good with it. It
I
just
mean, when you got that natural insulation, bro, it's cool. I get it. But for
no.
me, I
I
just.
just real men come from the north, so we can deal.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. That sums it all up. Let's get to
We
it.
can deal with the cold.
I'm saying these names not because they're essentially the best fighters out there, which we can make a case for Shakur Stevenson definitely. Um, they just look that much better than whoever they fight.
I think he might want to keep this thing on the feet and stay any way possible. Stay away from that guillotine choke. He was
Yeah,
squeezing Buddy's face in the last fight and
yeah.
put him out.
Come on, dog. Let's fight.
Welcome to the Fighter Share Report.
Like she said, come on, dog. Let's fight. Hey, UFC 258 up next, baby. This Saturday. Looking forward to this one, bro. Looking forward to this
Yes, indeed, bro. I'm right there with you. We went into great detail about these two superb fighters on Monday's show and Tuesday's show. And here we are on Wednesday, and it feels like we're heading back down that road. But yes, man, I'm excited. Man, look, I'm not gonna keep saying this, but I gotta say it again. You know, Dana White just keeps winning. Like the levels to his winning
one.
is
Ridiculous.
about to reach unprecedented status here, bro. Everything we complained about and we had beef with, I mean, we still have some legitimacy in a couple of those cases, but for the most part, he's getting this right. So yes, I'm Super 258. I can't wait to see these fights, and that's gonna make it a great weekend for me.
It's gonna make a heck of a weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Um, I don't think there are too many bad fights on this card. To be honest with you, I just it's gonna be a good fight, and I'm hoping that you know people really tune in for this one because at the on the outset when you look, you see Usman and you see Burns, and you might think that's it. Those are the main people that you need to watch, and no one else is going to be good on this card. So I'm encouraging you. Just tune into this one, get some popcorn or some pizza, stay social distance. One, so you don't hit nobody in the face if the person you're rooting for loses. But two, so you can stay away from COVID. Just saying, this is Florida, so we got to keep reminding people, it's not cool to have a super spreader.
I don't know, man. I don't think people have a problem with. Well, we're not gonna get into what spreading could actually mean, but now we still talking
Oh,
about this fight card, bro. So this is our more formal show. We have to act like the professionals that we portray ourselves to be. We don't give predictions on this show, but based on what we talked about over the past couple of days, at this point, who do you think has the edge right now?
um, me, because look who showed up in the screen. But
Hey, what's going on, baby?
I would say honestly, Kamara Usman would have the edge right now because he's the champion, and as much as I feel like a lot of people say, well, we've seen all that he can do. We know Kamara Usman can do this and can do that, and I don't think we've seen his entire game yet. Now, it's not going to be easy. Morning, morning, BJ. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park for either one of them. But I do believe right now he has a slight advantage.
Well, what I did find out yesterday as I was getting into my I guess my fanboy spirit for this fight, I consumed some of their content that they put out there. I watched the UFC Countdown program, bro. They have the storyline down to a T. The guys, their kids know each other. They're familiar with each other outside of the ring. They've got each other ready for fights. As you know, they've been training partners. But here's what I didn't know: the great Henry Hooft, who pretty much got all those guys right down there with the Black Zines camp. He also trained both Kamaru and Gilbert Burns. He's sitting this one out. He will not be cornering either guy, but Kamaru Usman was able to go to Denver, hook up with Trevor Whitman. You and I both spoke highly about Trevor Whitman, not only for what he's done with Justin Gaethje, but what he did with Rose, how he got her back after she took that crushing defeat and got her back to where she is. So Kamaru is definitely going to probably have the advantage when it comes to who's working in his corner.
But let's be
Very
real.
interesting, bro.
Go ahead. Yeah, it is. But the guru is still in South Florida, right? He may be sitting this out, but he didn't take time away from the gym, correct?
Yes.
So Burns still benefited from his knowledge in preparing for this fight, even though he may not be in the corner or at the apex when this happens. He's been around in the preparation for the fight.
So what I'm being told, and I know we can read into this how we want, but all of that is just strength and conditioning, no strategy.
Sure. Uh, Dodgeball. I'm asking you this question. Is Ryan Garcia dodging his own proposals? You brought this up about 2 weeks ago on the Beatdown. And I've been thinking about it and thinking about it. And the fight that they were talking about making that we said was probably just pomp and circumstance. Do you really think Ryan Garcia is now rethinking some of the people that he called out earlier and said he wanted to fight?
No, I think Ryan Garcia is just trying to figure out a way to leverage the situation more in his favor. At this point, there's he doesn't have a lot of options. That's the problem when social media becomes such a factor. Whereas we, the real fans of boxing, know how the process works to letting a fight marinate, even to a point where some of us may think it may overcook. But these newcomers into the sport, social media being a main driver, bro, people want to see these fights now.
Yeah.
They don't want to wait a year. They don't want to wait 18 months. They want the fight marinate. So Ryan Garcia, this is kind of a cannibalism of who he is and how he made his meteoric rise in the sport. So because of that, he doesn't really have any other options. What's going to happen is he can probably take another fight or two where it's not either one of those guys that we think he should probably face. But then you'll start to see the real people that have kind of bought into him, the real hardcore in the sport. Then you will see them kind of turn away from him. And that's when it get bad. So he doesn't have much time. So he can dodge it, but it ain't going to work for much longer.
It's going to be interesting because the people who are backing him hard, as they should be. But you're right. When it turns quickly, sudden, and harsh. It's like that hurricane, I think it was Charlie, that everybody ran to Orlando thinking it was going to hit Tampa. And then when it decided, hey, look, there's I-4. And it hit Orlando and then turned. Yeah. It when it turns, that backlash is swift and harsh. So I hope he makes the right moves. I hope he can straighten it out and do what he needs to do. And hopefully he's as great as he says he is.
Now, listen, we do know this much, and I think this is what actually would probably give him that one or two extra fights I was saying before it kind of takes that turn on him. Because we saw him be a real fighter, right? We saw him in that with Luke Campbell. We saw him get starched. Well, not starched. We saw him get hurt. And we saw him get up, protect himself, and come back and later stop Luke Campbell. So it's not as if he doesn't have the talent. Now, can he do it? I think a lot of us are still saying, I don't know about that. So yeah, I think this just gives him a little leeway. But because we actually saw him dig down and fight not too long ago, I think this will give him that little leeway he needs. But
Well,
like you said, when it turns, and he ain't got a lot of time.
it's funny because as much as the announcers really spun that to make it look like, well, this is just showing another layer to his game, being able to get up off the canvas, you have to.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not like you had an. I guess you did, but if you want to be great, you have no option. If you can breathe and stand, you get up off the canvas.
But this is the beautiful thing about combat sports and boxing in particular, it's a theory of the unknown. We don't know. We never know until we know, right? And
Yeah,
that's why it's such a delicate path to building a champion fighter. There's a lot of things that fighters have to overcome, and the last thing what they have to worry about overcoming is them feeling like they're not ready because they're getting up with somebody and be like, wait, whoa, wait a minute, this ain't what I thought.
right.
Me getting hit and getting hurt, I can get over that because I've been doing that since I first won a pair of gloves. That's the easiest thing to get over. When you feel like you just really ain't on that level, that does something to a fighter's psyche, and that's the stuff that they never really recover from. So Ryan Garcia getting dropped in this fight is perfectly fine. And by the way, when you get into high level opposition, that's what's supposed to happen.
Hey, to those of you who are watching who are trying to leave comments, I'm working with Restream to find out why not everybody's able to leave comments during the show. We're aware of the situation, and we're trying to get that sorted out. So hopefully by tomorrow's show, we will have that sorted out. Only certain people, certain platforms are able to get comments in for some reason, but we are working to get that taken care of. So please be patient with us. Hopefully we'll have this ready by tomorrow. So look, we got a new segment called Badgers Pick. We want to know what's tops on the Badgers social radar. Doo, 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 doo.
Oh man, that is a good question, bro. I don't know. I guess acquiring wealth, generating and
What?
trying to create some wealth. I think socially, that's kind of where most people who you would think fall into that working to middle class. That's the new way to try to ascend now. It's not going to be easy to pick up two and three jobs like it was back in the day. The hustle is a little bit different. Everything's kind of gone this the way of the internet. So everybody's trying to learn and pick up trades and try to figure out ways to acquire wealth to improve the situation. So for me, that's kind of on my social radar. And the people that I pay attention to, whether it be entertainers, athletes, musicians, they're all kind of echoing the same sentiment. So
What is what's something that stands out right now on your social media accounts? Something that whether it's combat
oh
sports, what
oh
what are you keeping up with right? What's trending on your phone?
oh man, it's boring, bro. I don't have a lot of stuff going on my social media. I'm kind of smug in that regard. It's a lot of combat sports, a lot of boxing. I have gotten into looking into online betting a little bit, so I've been getting a lot more of those things popping up on my feed. So yeah, that's it pretty much.
Look, I reached out to what is that outfit out of Vegas? Um Kings.
DraftKings.
DraftKings. I did reach out to DraftKings, and it's funny that I actually got somebody from their corporate office to respond, and I was asking how do you get something posted for a betting line, and he
Mm,
was explaining, and then he explained how to do it, and he transferred me. He connected me with another young lady who really is one of the people that teaches you how they set the odds.
mm.
Um, and she was very interested in what I was talking about. And I was like, look, we got an upcoming fight, and I would like to find out how to get that thing scheduled on the betting line. And she
Mm.
was like, who is it? And I said, well, it's Amanda Nunez versus the Badger. So we need to find a way how to get that thing up there. And she said she sees the odds probably pretty even when I really went through the whole statistics. So I think you should take that fight, bro. to you?
I mean, I don't even know where you was going with that, man. That totally did not go as expected. You know what is also on my social since you brought this up? Guns, bro. I have a lot of guns on my social media, man.
What you trying to
I'm kind
say?
of no. I just think that it kind of benefits you to be armed, I guess, to a certain degree.
Oh, to a high degree. it's not. It's
No,
not even a
no.
certain degree anymore.
Listen. I always feel like by the time they give us all the good stuff, they mean they got something better. So, guns are probably obsolete to some of those guys that really got the real toys. Now,
Listen,
do with that what you want, but
people don't talk about the microwave gun, and they've been using that
right.
for almost 20 years now.
You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, and you'll never
So,
see it. You'll never see
right,
it coming.
right, right.
And they're starting to make it so the range is further and further out. I remember when I first heard about that weapon, you could be like 300 yards, and it'll hit
Wow.
everything within the pattern, and it cooks you from the inside. So
Right.
before you realize it, you're just dropping.
Yeah.
And
I,
people that don't think this is real, you need to wise up.
yeah, I remember watching something. I think maybe this was back in like maybe the late '90s, early 2000s, when they were showing that when they were having problems with people evading and fleeing officers, and they were trying to figure out how to use the stop sticks and they came out with this gun. And this is as a lot of the intricate parts of the engine were turning into computer pieces, and they were able to shoot electronic impulses and just disable your car.
Hmm.
You can't. It just shuts down. It just slows down, like the engine just dies. So yeah, it's just all kind. And I haven't seen one of those on the retail market. That was at
And
least
you
15 years
won't.
ago. Right. So
But you might find it on the dark web. So right next to kidneys and lungs
and missiles.
and missiles, they're all in the same bucket. Look, we're coming up
That's a
on your
hell.
2 minutes. Yeah, I
That's a
said it.
hell. That's a hell of a Costco, man. So yeah, I think my partner tried to set me up, wanting to know what's trending on my social in hopes to get me to possibly spill the beans what I had to have on my 2 minute rant today. But he didn't succeed, and thus I will go into it. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just released the nominees for this year's class. But before I talk about the two first about the Hall of Famers alone, I want to talk about somebody that's a reoccurring member on here. One LL Cool J. I'm flabbergasted. I mean, by the time I realized who he was already a star. I've been out of high school almost, well, put it this way, I'm about to transcend into another decade. And this man's been famous my entire life. Not only did he transcend music, but he transcended fashion and culture. And he had a mainstream TV show when that was really rare, when the only one other person that had it was Will Smith. LL Cool J broke down a lot of barriers, man. I mean, we can go on from the accolades, the awards, all that. But one thing about him, as much as we would like to think that he was a ladies' man, he was also a family man. For whatever it's worth, and his wife been together for a long time. He's raised a bunch of kids. I remember the one commercial he had was a Coca-Cola commercial where he was sitting down on the stoop and he was braiding her hair and combing her hair. Just all the cool things that LL Cool J encompassed, man. And to still be somewhat relevant whenever he chooses to drop a freestyle or spit bars and give us a little bit of a glimpse into who this man was and still is and who he'll always be to us. I just find it really strange that he ain't made it in yet. Now, on the other hand, Mary J. Blige and Jay Z, they may even get him before him. And I'm not saying it because they don't deserve it, but it's just weird how the ones that come before you have to wait until, well, the ones that came after you.
Listen, I know I shouldn't be using my 2 minutes for this, but I am. I remember when he dropped the tape radio. It was right on the heels of Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick dropping Lottie Dottie. And he was LL was the first real angry rapper. He was brash, he was bold, and he got in a big beef. The first real big beef that was in hip hop was with him and Cool Mo D.
Cool Mo D.
So yeah, I won't get into that because I could spend my whole 2 minutes talking about LL pros and cons. Listen, Marty Schottenheimer passed the other day. We mentioned it on the show yesterday. I really wanted to take the time to emphasize just how important Marty Schottenheimer was to the league. Marty Schottenheimer coached the Cleveland Browns to three conference championship games. He coached the Kansas City Chiefs to a conference championship game. He also, a lot of people forget, he also coached the Washington Redskins to a 14-2 record. No, I think it was 14. Yeah, and then Dan Snyder fired him after 1 year. Then he goes to San Diego and turns San Diego around, and gets in. Management doesn't like his coaching style after he made them a winner, and they fired him there. Marty won his only championship coaching, if I'm not mistaken, semi-pro. He coached until he developed Alzheimer's. Didn't shy away from Alzheimer's. Met it head on, he and his wife. They didn't deny it. They didn't hide it. They were public with it because they were hoping that awareness would help somebody else. Marty Schottenheimer said of all the accolades in coaching, his greatest achievement and gift was his wife. Peace, rest in power to Marty Schottenheimer.
Hey man, that was a nice piece. Hey, give Marty Schottenheimer credit for having the longest name tag in the world, bro. Remember, have you ever seen a Marty Schottenheimer throwback, bro? Yeah. Like the name goes like all the way like from the sleeve to other sleeve. It's amazing.
It's actually longer than Gronkowski. Yeah.
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 That's when they actually had to stitch your name into the jersey.
Yes, that took time. And equipment managers hated when you get a jersey ripped. They would try their best to save that name tag.
I'm trying to tell you, and listen, they took their time with the spelling. I bet you that.
Yeah. Well, at least you had to be able to read to do his jersey. Listen, LL, man, there were two schools of thought, two different sides of people thought about LL, and I think that is what's hurting him. Because he came out wanting to be a bad battle rapper. Matter of fact, in New York, during his heyday, well, when he first really hit, even through the mid-90s, he was known as the baddest battle rapper on the street. So, that added to his legacy. But then, when rumors of Jay-Z caught him 3 times, leaving clubs, leaving concerts, and beat him 3 times, that took a lot of the luster from your hip-hop heads who were writing hip-hop at the time. And mind you, a lot of that has to do with why he's not getting in. Does he deserve to be in? Yes.
Well, my partner is going to take up the entire wrap-up talking about something we ended 5 minutes ago. We want to give a shout out to Fighter Nation, his entire family. We will be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat place. We'll let our hat on a little bit more. He can continue this rant like he's writing for the Music Hall of Fame. We love y'all. We'll see y'all soon. Fighter Nation was peace.
You're a real punk, man, for doing that. That was wrong. That was so wrong. I can't believe you did that to me.